that was the worst edit you've ever seen. But anyway, today we're going to be testing the system I made with a EPYC 7532, 32-core CPU, and a GTX 1070 GPU. So the CPU only goes up to 3.3 gigahertz because it's a server CPU, so we're going to see how that works out in games later in the video. But anyway, as far as other system specifications go, I just have a 500 gigabyte budget NVMe SSD, and unfortunately 16 gigabytes of single channel RAM at 2666, of course ECC, because, well, that's all you can really put in this board. Alright, anyway, let's get on with the video, and we're gonna start benchmarks now. Alright guys, so the first game we're going to be benchmarking today is Fortnite. So I'm playing this at 1080p performance mode, all lowest settings. So the point of these really low settings is basically to force the bottleneck to the CPU and off of the GPU. So we're going to see how that 3.3 gigahertz holds up in a game. So as we see here in this loading section, we're getting around 120 frames per second, which is really good actually for a CPU, a server CPU. So you see here, I try to do a little edit here, but there was actually, it felt really chunky there for some reason, probably because of the frame timings, because the server CPUs are not known for their frame timings. So anyway, now we're on the ground. You can see still 120 to 130 frames per second. It looks really smooth, honestly. I would prefer this much over a console. Yeah, for me at least, this was really nice. I think this is enough to be competitive. Yeah, so this game ran great. On to the next game. Alright everybody, so the next game that we're benchmarking today is going to be Dark Souls Remastered at 1440p. So as you can see, it's at 60 FPS right now. And to be honest, this won't show off the CPU too much because it's a mostly GPU limited game. So as you can see running in, CPU 60%, or GPU 60%, CPU really just isn't working at all. There's one core at like 40%, and that's about it. So as I'm fighting these enemies, nothing really seems to change that much. Feels really smooth, no lag whatsoever. So you'll see in a second when I enter this this tower, this bell tower, there's gonna be some more enemies, but despite that, it's gonna stay at 60 FPS because this game just isn't really that hard to run, and it's just about as good as you can get it to look. Yeah, so it's basically just GPU, not really that much CPU going on here. As you're about to see, there's gonna be a lot of enemies. And the CPU utilization doesn't really increase. I don't think it's that hard to run. Yeah, so that's about it. Runs amazingly. Alright everybody, so up next we have Elden Ring. So this is 1440p maximum settings, and it's running it at about 30 FPS. So this is a Limgrave that I'm at right now, which is a pretty hard to run area, a lot of stuff going on, and it's around 30 FPS. And basically you'll see a little later in the video, what I'll do is I'll turn on the settings, but the FPS won't change. And that's because even though I think Elden Ring is usually GPU limited, maybe it just doesn't scale so well across the CPU cores, or perhaps it's just 3.2 gigahertz boost just isn't enough for this game. Yeah, but as you see here, fighting enemies, nothing really changes. We can see 40 FPS, it goes up a little bit, but very inconsistent. I would say that the game is playable, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's playable, but it's not that enjoyable. It's because there's no lag. It's playable. But I'm going to show you now. See, I changed it to medium settings, and then the FPS seems to stay the exact same. And this is probably CPU limited now. So I'll see you in the next game. This is the first game that didn't run that well. Now we're gonna find out, can it run Doom? And not any Doom, in fact, Doom Eternal with Ultimate Nightmare settings. So I think this is gonna be a little bit more on the GPU, but there's some solid AI and such to work with for the CPU. Yes, this is also a 1440p, just so you know, 1440p Ultra Nightmare. So as you can see, the FPS stays above 100 usually, but sometimes dips down to 80-ish. The game felt really smooth to me, no stutters, no hitches, anything like that. Yeah, so this honestly just runs amazing. I mean, as expected, even a calculator can run Doom, so why shouldn't this? Alright guys, well, I'll see you in the next game. Alright everybody, so next up, we're going to be checking out Counter-Strike 2 at 1440p, and I mean it's custom settings, whatever the recommended is, but it looks like mostly high. So this game should be pretty CPU intensive, and as you can see in game, we're getting around 200 FPS. This game actually seems to scale pretty well with CORES, because they're all at around 50 to 60%, or at least the 6 I brought up. I didn't want to flip the screen with 32 cores of information, but I mean the fact that 6 cores are being used means it scales a lot better than at least Elden Ring. So anyways, you can see it's usually above 200 FPS, but sometimes it randomly dips down to 100 and then stays there for a while. I'm not too sure why that is, but the game is really smooth, definitely playable, and I think you could have a lot of fun with it if you had this setup. Even though it's 3.3 gigahertz, it really isn't limiting this game in any way, especially because it's a less fast-paced shooter, so you don't really need 200 or above FPS on this. So yeah, this runs great. See you guys in the next one. Alright guys, so our last game, oddly enough, is chess. You might be wondering how chess makes it on here, but this isn't just normal chess. We're going to be locally running Stockfish 18. So the reason Stockfish is so nice on this computer is that it scales really well with cores and threads. So my PC went pretty crazy while this was all happening, because the CPU was going max load and the little Dynatron cooler on it wasn't really doing that good of a job. But anyway, so I played Stockfish here in a 1-minute game, and I'm going to speed this up so you guys don't have to watch it, or feel free to skip ahead. Anyway, so after this, I'll run the conclusion. Alright everybody, so welcome to the conclusion. So I think despite the 3.3 gigahertz on the CPU, it actually does game really well. Everything except Elden Ring was handled pretty exceptionally, to be honest. So I don't think you should get this over a 5600X or something like that if you're building, as this costed me around $500 this build. But if you already have this lying around, you just want a game, 100% go for it. Or, if you need, like, workstation stuff, the CPU is obviously amazing, so if you just want to game a little bit on the side, it's great for that. Yeah, guys, so, thank you so much for watching the video.